No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for November the 14th, 2022. Shout outs to the early birds, Matt Helms, Ken terminates DQ, Tic Tat Tat, Michael Wayne, Darren G, Calvin Bowman, and I do want to wish happy birthday to Caleb Jacobs, good friend from Oregon, as well as Joey Perez. Happy birthday to both of you, and thanks for tuning in tonight. I very much appreciate it. We are on the road to War Games. Let's get started with this Raw recap. We kicked off with the new babyface Seth freaking Rollins. Footage was shown from last week, of course, the failed cash-in of one Austin Theory. Crowd was chanting, "That was stupid," in regards to Theory's cash-in. Rollins talked about how the U.S. title is the top prize on Monday Night Raw, and it will be defended in the main event. Bobby Lashley, though, interrupted the promo, said he will continue to beat up Seth Rollins until he gets his United States Championship back. Rollins brought up Lashley's loss to one Brock Lesnar, and that's when Mustafa Ali arrived with a referee. He wanted a match with Lashley. Lashley gave Ali a warning, but Ali ran into the ring. Lashley tossed him out, but Ali kept coming at him, so Lashley eventually accepted the match and said that Ali is either stupid or he has guts. We had our first match of the evening, Lashley versus Ali. Ali attacked Lashley as soon as the bell rang to start the match. Lashley got shoved into the ring post, but then he caught Ali and he did his trademark toss into the ring post and then sent Ali over the announce table. Ali barely beat the 10 count. Lashley continued his beatdown. The referee was checking on Ali, but Ali refused to have the match stopped. Crowd was chanting one more time, which goes to show you how much they care about Ali at this stage of the game. Ali did sidestep Lashley and then hit a tornado DDT, and then he tried to finish off Lashley but was caught with a spear. Lashley put on the hurt lock and Ali passed out. So Ali gave it a good old college try, but it was not enough. And Walter, I'm just not sure the crowd is going to care about Ali at this stage of the game. The little engine that could. I just think it's too little too late. We've been down this road several times with Ali and nothing ever amounts to anything. But solid start to Raw. Backstage, we had the OC with Mia Yim, and AJ Styles officially challenged Finn Balor to a one-on-one match at Survivor Series, which sounds like a banger for sure. And then we had Mia Yim versus Tamina, which is what you should do when you're bringing back people. You're trying to establish them. Tamina got no entrance, but let's face it, she's never going to be pushed again. It's pretty much the end for her. So you might as well use her to put over some other people. I mean, at the end of the day, you do need some enhancement talent. You had Rhea Ripley and Dominic at ringside. You also had Damage Control watching backstage on the monitor, and they were actually watching the TV monitor the proper way. It is indeed the Triple H era, not the Vince era anymore. So Mia Yim hit her finisher. I forgot what it's called, but she picked up the win. And then afterwards, Damage Control tried to recruit Mia Yim. This was backstage. They tried to recruit her for War Games. She said she had no issues with Bianca Belair. And then the OC showed up with some beer. And also, I forgot to mention that Rhea Ripley was invited into the ring by Mia Yim. Rhea Ripley teased it, but then took her leave. Backstage, we had a little shoosh bro off between Chad Gable and Matt Riddle. This set up a match between them for later on. And Chad Gable got the early momentum in this match. Riddle started to climb up to the top. Otis distracted Riddle, and Gable hit Riddle with a release German suplex off the top, which was pretty crazy. But after the commercial break, Riddle made his comeback. They traded some submissions. Riddle avoided Gable's moonsault. He hit the draping DDT, and then Gable reversed Riddle with a backslide. Otis grabbed Gable's legs from the outside to give Gable some leverage as he got the 1-2-3 victory. A little bit of momentum for Alpha Academy, picking up another win here. Back-to-back wins. Last week, Otis got a win over Elias. This week, Chad Gable defeats Matt Riddle. Backstage, we had JBL and Baron Corbin playing a poker game. And that's when Tozawa showed up wanting to get into the game. We had some comedy here. And Walter says to get rid of the comedy, but I disagree. A wrestling show is a variety show. You need some different things, especially in a 3-hour show. I think the comedy is much needed. The problem is that a lot of the time the comedy is hit and miss, and sometimes it's very cringy in my opinion. But this was okay. I mean, this was far from the worst thing I've ever seen on a WWE program. It was fine. We had Miz TV, and Miz TV was wearing a sweater. Actually, I think it was called something else, but he was out there dressed up like Mr. Rogers. Byron Saxton was the host, so Miz was the one that was being interviewed. He was the special guest, and Byron asked Miz if Miz was sorry about the Dexter Lumis situation, and Miz said he regretted paying Lumis. He just wanted empathy from the fans. He was injured, and he still showed up on television, but people booed him. He said that Dexter became greedy, and that's why he lied to the undercover woman, said he's actually a devoted father, loving husband, but he's depressed. And that's when Johnny Gargano arrived and revealed that Miz was actually vacationing over the weekend. Miz tried to say that he was depressed in his hotel room, and Miz could not lie about vacationing because Maurice was posting photos. And Gargano said Miz is a compulsive liar, and Miz tried to say he's a good guy, he's sorry, and Gargano said that Miz needs to pay Dexter Lumis. So a match was set up in 2 weeks on Raw. Dexter Lumis will face The Miz, and if Dexter wins, he gets paid. And not only that, but he gets a WWE contract, which is kind of a silly storyline considering Dexter Lumis was coming out there with music and a Titantron and everything. Kind of weird that you would put all that effort into a guy not under contract, although maybe it was from before he got released. Anyways, Dexter Lumis was dressed up as a cameraman. He scared off The Miz. Miz ran away, and that's taking place in 2 weeks. Will Dexter Lumis finally wrestle? I guess time will tell. Then we had some footage shown from earlier in the day. Shelton Benjamin was asked about Fury's failed cash-in. Dominic then confronted Shelton Benjamin and said that he's better than Shelton, but then Dominic started hiding behind Damian Priest, as a match was set up for Monday Night Raw. Then we had Shelton Benjamin versus Dominic. Dominic slapped Shelton. Shelton slapped him back, and Dominic kept escaping to the outside. Judgment Day was interfering in this. They got involved on more than one occasion. Dominic was able to gain the upper hand. He went for the 619, but Shelton avoided it, put on the ankle lock. Damian Priest actually pulled Dominic to the rope while Rhea Ripley was distracting the referee. And then Shelton was thrown into the ring post. Dominic hit the DDT and then picked up the victory with the frog splash. 1, 2, 3 victory. So Dominic gets a win over Shelton. Shelton, like Tamina, basically putting over people at this stage of the game, although one can still hope that maybe we will get a reunited Hurt Business at some point. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $7.37 super chat. Thank you for that, Caleb. Much appreciated. Says, is John Morrison returning next in WWE under Triple H as part of the storyline with Johnny Gargano, The Miz, and Dexter Lumis? I have not heard anything about that. So if John Morrison shows up, that would be a surprise. I would not rule it out, although they had nothing for him last time. And what would they do this time that would be any different whatsoever? But I could see it. And Frankie Monet, I could see her being brought back as well. I would definitely not rule it out. But as far as hearing any rumors about it, no. I have not heard anything about John Morrison possibly coming back. It would be cool, though, but it would basically just be rehashing what we've already seen with Miz and Morrison. Like, what else can you really do with those guys? We had Austin Theory interviewed backstage about his Money in the Bank loss last week. He said that nobody understands the pressure he's under. Nobody understands what the full story is. He said that people want to see him fail. And he said that while he did lose, he feels more alive than ever. He felt that the Money in the Bank was a thing that was holding him down, an anchor. He said that when he tried to cash in on Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar got involved. The Bloodline got involved. It was impossible to cash it in, so he decided to go after one of the great champions in WWE, Seth Rollins. But then Lashley got involved, and if it wasn't for Lashley, Theory would have been a 2-time U.S. champion. He said that he would have been champion, and then Dolph Ziggler showed up, and Ziggler called it the worst cash-in ever. He tried to help Theory a couple months ago, but Theory, his ego was too big. He did not want to listen. And Theory said he's tired of being called a kid. He's tired of being called the next big thing. He said he is the now. No more excuses. And he challenged Dolph Ziggler to a match. And Ziggler said, sure thing, kid. So this promo was solid. I thought that maybe they would try to turn him babyface, but they decided to double down on Theory being a heel, only turning up the intensity with Austin Theory. And I guess it does make sense. I mean, it's still stupid cashing in on Seth Rollins, but he talked about how every time he tried to cash in, there were always other parties getting involved, like Brock Lesnar and the Bloodline. So I get that part of it, but still, like, you have a full year to cash in. Maybe wait until there's a better opportunity. I don't know. But hey, he's young, so I guess that's his excuse. Caleb Jacobs sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Caleb. I appreciate it very much. He says, what about John Morrison holding the U.S. title, the only title he never had? Is John Morrison considered a legend now in WWE? I mean, I could see John Morrison being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Is he deserving of the Hall of Fame? I mean, he was a good wrestler, and he still is a good wrestler, but he was never a top-tier guy. Could he have been a top-tier guy? That's debatable. The mic skills were not great, but in the ring, he was exceptional. He was flashy. He could do a lot. Coco Beware got into the Hall of Fame, so if Coco Beware is a legend, then I suppose John Morrison is a legend in WWE. We had a War Games video package with all the NXT clips, but they made sure to not showcase too much from the guys that are no longer with the company. We saw some Rhea Ripley in there, some Ricochet and so forth. Then we had Dana Brooke versus Io Sky, which was an okay match. I mean, again, Dana Brooke, enhancement talent, which we need some. Some people are going to be enhancement talent, and you need to build up the people that you're trying to build up, like Io Sky and Mia Yim and so on. So Dana Brooke got in some offense. Io caught her with a German suplex, hit a Meteora, and then hit the moonsault to pick up the win. Pretty straightforward showcase match for Io Sky. And then afterwards, Mia Yim arrived on the stage, said she was thinking about the offer to join Damage Control for War Games, but she picked her side, and her side is Bianca Belair. And Bianca Belair came out there, and they had the big face-off. Then we had another segment backstage with Tozawa and Happy Corbin, or Baron Corbin, or King Corbin, whatever Corbin he is these days. APA Corbin. Corbin was trying to cheat in poker, not showing his cards. Tozawa caught him with that and then issued a challenge for a match. And Building Nexus with a question here. $2. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It says, could you see Becky Lynch as Bianca Belair's fifth member? Maybe. I don't know when Becky is coming back, but I think it's a possibility. I still have this feeling that Becky Lynch is going to be on SmackDown when she returns. She could come back for Raw, but I sense it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Like, that seems to be the obvious match for Ronda in Hollywood, Inglewood, wherever you want to call it. I think that it's more likely to be Candice LeRae, but maybe it will be Becky Lynch. We'll see. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, is Tozawa more over than Von Wagner? Yes, especially for the sunglasses he wore. Tozawa's sunglasses in that poker game were more over than Von Wagner. I will say that much. And people in the chat room, Michael Wayne and Oof, talking about Becky Lynch winning the Women's Royal Rumble. I could definitely see that. Anyways, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Austin Theory, which was a hell of a match here. Crowd was chanting, that was stupid, again, referencing the cash-in. Theory worked over Ziggler, did some trash talking. Ziggler got sent into the ring post. Crowd was chanting, where's your briefcase? I have to say, this was a better crowd than last week. I mean, that's not saying much. Still not at the level of the really good AEW crowds, but it was a decent crowd this week. They did some chants. They got into some of the matches. It was back and forth here. They traded near falls. Ziggler countered the A-Town down with a sleeper. Theory eventually got out of it, hit a Fameasser, but Theory kicked out, and then Theory regained the upper hand, sent Ziggler into the ring post again, and then he tried it a third time, but Ziggler reversed. Ziggler hit the zigzag. Theory kicked out. Crowd started chanting, "This is awesome." And then Ziggler went for the super kick, but got knocked out with a punch, did the spit like Shawn Michaels back in the day. And then Theory hit the A-Town down. He hit another one, and then he started foaming at the mouth, which I thought was great here. He just snapped. He completely went off the rails. He was punching Ziggler. Then on the outside of the ring, Theory continued the attack. He smashed Ziggler into the table repeatedly, and the referee had no other choice but to call for a DQ. So we had a DQ on Raw, first one in a while, and you know what? I'm fine with it every now and then if it elevates a storyline and it has a purpose, and in this case it did. Theory was not worrying about winning the match. He wanted to hurt Dolph Ziggler for calling him a kid, and Theory just continued to beat the shit out of him. He took the ringside chair, not the little plastic chair, but the big chair, and just threw it down on Ziggler. This was great. I mean, this was something we needed to see out of Austin Theory for a long time, and I guess losing the briefcase brought that vicious side out of him. It was kind of like 2009 Randy Orton, where Orton just completely went batshit crazy. So this was well done. I'm impressed. I am impressed with how this all played out, because I was doubting that Theory would be able to come back from last week, but they did a hell of a job this week. I will give them credit where credit's due. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat, says the fifth could be Beth Phoenix to get revenge on Rhea Ripley. That's possible too, but I feel like at this point, the Edge and Beth Phoenix storyline will maybe be dragged out to the Royal Rumble, if not WrestleMania. So maybe not this soon. I still feel like it's going to be Candice as the fifth person on the team. No more cell phone from Austin Theory, which is definitely a good thing as well. Then we had another backstage segment with Rhea Ripley and Damage Control, and Rhea Ripley officially joined the group. She said if Mia Yim's on the other team, then count her in. She is the fifth and final member for Damage Control's team. Then we had Akira Tozawa versus Baron Corbin, and it wasn't a squash. Tozawa got in some offense, did the little stick and move, hit a Hurricane Rana, did a dive, but then JBL distracted him, and when Tozawa went for a second dive, Corbin caught him, sent him into the post. Tozawa, though, made another comeback, hit a shining wizard, and then came off the top and took down Corbin. He went up again, but this time Corbin caught him and hit the end of days and got the 1-2-3 victory. So nice showing for Tozawa, like for once not being the comic relief, and he actually got to have a match that was competitive on the show. We didn't have the boring ass JBL promo, so just a straight up match. It was good. It was good. We had Bianca Belair and her team backstage talking about Survivor Series War Games, said that Rhea Ripley is definitely a problem, but their team will look even better when their fifth member is revealed. Maybe it is Becky Lynch. Because they're definitely hyping it up, and you would think that it would be somebody more than just somebody that's already been on Raw every week. Like hyping it up like this feels like it could be Becky Lynch, but we'll see. And we also had Gable and Otis gloating about their win. Then we had Finn Balor interviewed before the main event and said he was accepting AJ Styles' challenge, of course, and talked about that they have unfinished business from the past. And then we had our main event, Seth freaking Rollins defending the U.S. title against Finn Balor. A long match here. They got a lot of time for this one. Feeling out process. Crowd was firmly behind Rollins, who's got the blonde streaks. He's a babyface again. I dig it. And Rollins hit a crossbody to the outside. Balor took control after the break. And then they fought on the outside. Rollins was sent into the corner of the announce table, and Balor continued to work over Rollins in the ring. But then Rollins caught him with a super kick, went for a frog splash. Balor got his knees up, and then Balor went for the coup de grace, but Rollins avoided it. And then they were on the outside again. They teased that Rollins was going to hit that buckle bomb to the barricade on Balor, which is what injured Balor at SummerSlam in 2016. They ended up back in the ring. Balor hit the 1916. Rollins kicked out. Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow, but Balor kicked out. And then Judgment Day showed up to try and crash the party. But then AJ Styles, the OC, Mia Yim, they all came down there. We had a huge brawl erupt, and during the melee, AJ Styles pushed Balor off the top rope. Rollins hit the curb stomp, got the 1-2-3 victory to retain his championship. And then Theory showed up once again, attacked Rollins, hit him with the A-Town down, beat him up on the outside, brought him back in the ring, hit another A-Town down, and then took the U.S. title and knocked out Rollins with the championship. And that was the end of Raw, with Austin Theory standing tall, the new vicious Austin Theory. Dr. Dakota Scorpio with a $2 super chat said, the fifth member is Brandy Rhodes, LOL. Highly unlikely in all likelihood. I know that's a joke, but you never know. I don't think it's Brandy Rhodes. I would be very, very, very surprised. But yeah, nice gag there, Dr. Dakota Scorpio. You funny. And Darren G with a $5 super chat. I appreciate it, Darren G. Says, say yes to no DQ. Great recap as always. I appreciate that. I enjoyed the main event. Overall, I enjoyed the show. It was a good show. I give it a solid B. Good Raw for a 3-hour show. I liked the matches. The stuff with Theory was well done. We got some build-up for Survivor Series. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, the face team has no shot against Ripley without Becky. Well, you could be right on that, unless the plan is for Damage Control's team to win. I mean, if Becky is on Team Raw, or not Team Raw, Team Bianca, then I think it's pretty much a guarantee that Bianca's team is winning. That's the thing. Without Becky, then it definitely seems to favor the other team, Damage Control. Dr. Dakota Scorpio with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, if Tyrus can win the NWA title, why not Brandy? LOL. Well, Brandy's not going to become the NWA champion, but that may be the only way that people find any interest in NWA ever again. Not that that would really help them or anything, just because Brandy Rhodes in AEW wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire. But I would say her being the world champion at this point would be a step up from Tyrus. And This Guy Experience with a $2 super chat says, where is Dewdrop? Also, what about SC from last week? SC Stone Cold? Not sure who SC is. My brain is fried, so I'm sure it's somebody I should know, but yeah, SC doesn't ring a bell. Dewdrop, that's a good question. Maybe she's the fifth person for Bianca's team. I feel like that would be considered a disappointment. I'm almost thinking it will be Becky now because they're hyping it up. Otherwise, they should have just announced it on this show. The fact that they're saving it for next week. And by the way, next week, they're doing the whole match to determine who gets the advantage in War Games. That'll be next week. And I know they like to change it up, but traditionally it makes sense for the heels to have the advantage just from a psychological standpoint. Oh, super chat from the No DQ review. What about it? I forgot what the super chat was that this guy experienced. So if I missed one, let me know what it is real quick here, and I'll give my thoughts. They could do a coin toss, Oofman, but I feel like a match is something that actually takes up some TV time, and with a 3-hour show, you definitely need ways to fill up that TV time. But yeah, Raw was good this week. It definitely did not drag as much as other weeks, and the crowd was better. Not the best crowd I've ever heard, but they were okay, and I did enjoy the show. So that's it for Raw, everybody. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, a thumbs up on YouTube, and spread the word. Tell a friend. Coming up Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we will be doing our predictions for AEW Full Gear. Now, I would prefer to do them after the go-home episode of Dynamite, but we got a loaded rest of the week. There's no other night to do it, so we're doing it Tuesday night. It's open Tuesday night, Full Gear predictions. We got like 8-9 matches to predict anyway, so we got plenty to talk about, and we got maybe 1 or 2 rumored matches we can talk about. Stay tuned for that. Enjoy your week, everybody. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news and rumors. And remember, say yes to NoDQ.com, NoDQ.com/merch, 20% off. Use the code EARLYBIRD. Get your NoDQ gear, and I will see you all next time.